Article 8, Section 1 of the Michigan Constitution says, religion, morality, and knowledge being necessary to good government and the happiness of mankind, schools and the means of education shall forever be encouraged. That comes from the Northwest Ordinance, as many of you know. It's included in many of our state constitutions across the land. It's included because of the wisdom of our founders and understanding that education was vital. In fact, it was the key building block for making sure that this society was not simply a progressive society, but it was a society that was good and understood the power that it had in continuing a system of government that produced liberty and opportunity. I think there was wisdom in these same framers who wrote those constitutions at the state level, who also established the federal government and its powers, which they limited extremely. They ultimately put a 10th Amendment in that limited even further and more clearly that the states had the powers, not rights, but powers, and the federal government gained their rights and powers from the states. And so when we have mandates coming from the federal government now on education, where there is no provision, no mandate in our Constitution for the federal government to be involved, and with great wisdom, because how in the world could some bureaucrat, well-meaning though they may be, provide the necessary direction for the uniqueness of Kevin? And I know Kevin. Everybody knows Kevin in Hillsdale, and they ought to know him all around. Wonderful young man. Or my son here in Lenawee County. How can a bureaucrat in Washington really understand what's necessary to do within the constraints of a local community, of a teaching faculty, of parents, and the unique differences that are there? So I oppose No Child Left Behind as an example of a mandate from the federal government. Well-meaning. President Bush, who pushed it, and others were well-meaning in setting up standards. And yet they forgot the fact that when I walk into a special ed classroom once in Eaton County and I see this special ed teacher working with a student there who's sitting in a wheelchair, responding with blink of eye, yes, one blink, two blinks, no, to a test mandated by No Child Left Behind to show if it was a failing or succeeding school district. Can you imagine the costs that are there as she not only went through that test once with the blinks, but went through it again to make sure she understood? Now that isn't understood at the federal level, but the costs are understood and the need is understood at the local level. And I will work aggressively to end those type of mandates and ultimately end the power that the federal government, at least work for that, the power the federal government holds over the local states and the local districts. I think again this comes down to the issue that we ought to be asking the question as opposed to should there be a tenure law. What will it take to make sure that quality teachers feel affirmed and have confirmation that they are valued and will be resourced and supported to the fullest? And that those who betray that public trust, violating laws, and this is what makes the citizen, voters, taxpayers crazy. It's not some of the inner workings of the classroom at times. And when they see a school district unable to use tenure without great costs to every student in every classroom, because that's where it comes down to dismiss a teacher who has violated the public trust, who has not performed up to the level that they are expected to and have committed to. Significant performance we're talking about. And then because of tenure, they are protected, and they may leave the school district, but they'll show up in another school district. That drives our people crazy. Because they know it's not fair. It's not right for the students in the classroom. And I think that's where I would appeal to the local districts in confines with the tenure law and the Michigan Education Association and AIT and others to stand together to say we will promote quality education and we will do whatever it takes to make sure a teacher performs and supply them with what's necessary to bring them up to speed and counsel them to make sure that they keep on track, But when they violate really the code of a professional, that they will not be protected at the expense of the student in the classroom and the future of quality education. That's what professionalism is all about. And that's what produces quality. I think we get wrapped up too much with saying that we support tenure or not. Let's say that we support quality education and supporting quality teachers and quality administrators, and that we as a community work together so that there is support that says, yeah, public employees can't strike. So let's do things to make sure that they don't strike. And then, when a teacher does not perform, the rest of the teachers look on and say, what is going to happen? This really puts a light on us as well. The community stands together and does the right thing.